Alright guys, how's it going? Seems like ages since we last spoke, although I did do a morning briefing today on my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. The link's in the video description, and I think it pops up at the very end of the video. I do my morning briefings on there now, as you know. I have reviewed today's Spanish football dailies for you. I didn't go this morning. I went this afternoon, actually, about 1:30. And then on a Monday afternoon, I kicked back with my boy Smooth on the Xbox, as you know. So I've just finished that, and I wanted to make this video for you rather than leave it till tomorrow. Also, yesterday, I didn't review the Spanish football dailies yesterday, but I did today, so I did two lots today. So yesterday, I went to see David Villa's Benidorm at 12 o'clock, and they drew 1-1, a bit of a relegation battle going on there. And then in the evening, I went up to Valencia and watched Spain take on Netherlands in the UEFA Nations League. Did you see that game? There was 15 goals in that game with the penalties and that. It was incredible, and we're going to be talking specifically about Dean Huijsen, or Huijsen, or whatever he's fucking, you know what I mean, don't you? The young centre-back at Bournemouth that I've been talking a lot about on here, as you know. So I went to that game, didn't get back from Valencia till about 2 in the morning. By the time I'd sorted everything out at home, it was like 3:30 when I got to bed. And this morning I was just too tired to go to the cafe. So here I am, better late than never, I think. So I reviewed yesterday's papers and today's papers, Mundo Deportivo, Sport, AS, and Marca. Nothing in them yesterday. It was all about last night's game between Spain and Netherlands, if you like. And today's is all about last night's game between Spain and Netherlands. So there's nothing in this update regarding Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid, specifically that was written in the newspapers. However, I want to just quickly mention something. If you follow my Spanish football dailies, you will know that my go-to for Real Madrid news is Jose Felix Diaz at Marca. Consider him their Paul Joyce or David Ornstein, I think. Not a Pierce, Reddy or Lynch kind of journo. I listen to him more than any of the other journalists when it comes to Real Madrid news and Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's the main man for the Trent commentary, and while quiet on that front recently, because what else is there to say, I've noted that he's now saying that Trent's move to Real Madrid has been confirmed internally. So I'm not sure if that interests you at all, but it's not in the print edition, of today's papers, if you like. So what I'm going to be doing in this update is talking to you about Dean Huijsen, and only Dean Huijsen. There's nothing else to talk about in the print media today. And so I'll start by saying that I went to the game and I had really good seats. If you follow me on Instagram and X at Duncan Oldham, you'll see I had an absolutely great seat at the Mestalla. It was very high up, but that's where I wanted to be. It was central behind the goal, which meant that, well, it was like watching someone play FIFA, to be honest. It was amazing. It meant that I had a great aerial view of the defence. Obviously, for 45 minutes, swapped round. You know that in football. But there was extra time as well. So I got to see another 15 minutes of this player in action. Now, obviously, I was there to watch the entire game and all the players or whatever. But I paid special focus to Dean Huijsen, and I didn't take my eyes off him, I've got to be honest. And I'm telling you right now, guys, he was fucking amazing. I mean, he was incredible. I can't believe he's only 19 years of age, honestly. You'd think he was a seasoned pro, like a veteran or something. He was outstanding, guys. And not only in defence, but with his ball delivery, long balls, perfect passing, brilliant. And at times, when he went forward, it was like watching an attacking midfielder. It was amazing, honestly. And you know how grumpy I am and how I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's not very often I get excited about a player. Now, Um, he also provided an assist in that game as well. But he was outstanding. Now, for those of you that don't know, he was born in the Netherlands and he moved to Spain when he was 5, so he considers himself Spanish, more Spanish if you like. And every time he got the ball last night, he was booed, by the visiting supporters, and it didn't faze him one single bit. If Liverpool signed this kid, if we could hold on to him, he will be your centre-back for the next 10 years. He is going to be massive. Now, I said this before I saw him play. And the thing is, Liverpool have an interest in him. That's what they say. They have an interest in him. But as you know, that interest often never comes to fruition. And I'm sorry, but an elite club, right, has to and must try and sign this player. Now, he has aspirations of playing in Spain one day. Real Madrid have started to be mentioned with him now, in terms of, they're fans of his, admirers of his. They know all about him. But the thing is, Real Madrid, they don't have, they're not in the market for that kind of player at the moment. They've got Asensio, they've got 4 other centre-backs coming through. It's the kind of player that you can see them moving for at some point, if nobody else does. There just isn't the urgency. They're not out there, for a centre-back at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised if he went there in the summer. I really wouldn't. If Liverpool, and I'm gonna read the bits from the newspapers to you in a moment. I'm just telling you, I actually went to the game and watched him. But if Liverpool have any real, desire to try and sign this kid, they're going to have to do it now, because somebody else will. I guarantee it. And I think he's going to be one of the best defenders in the world. I really do. Anyway, so maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. So Mark has said, here's a few quotes from Marker today. When advancing with the ball, he seemed capable of cracking a safe with just a stick. The defender seemed to have been in the Spanish defence for a decade. It was his second appearance for Spain. Injuries have opened the door for a defender who looks set to last several decades. Now, Marca rated him 3 out of 3 in their match ratings, player ratings. Only 3 players received that rating. One of them was the goalkeeper. The other was Nico Williams, another player that, an elite club you would expect would try and sign him. Fuck me. Could you imagine? I'm not even going to go there because it just depresses me. Right, so AS rated him 3 out of 3 as well. Now, Zubamendi, you know what, right? Sometimes people will say it's not Zubamendi, it's Zubamendi. What you have to understand is there's different regional pronunciations, right? Just like there is Bath and Bath back in England and shit like that. Around here, they pronounce it Zubamendi, and I'm sticking with that, all right? Now, he also played for Spain last night. But I'll be honest with you guys, I don't remember him touching the ball. I don't, and obviously this is a player that we spoke about on here many, many times. Maybe I'm being unfair because my entire focus really was on Huijsen, below me, rather than further up the pitch. He was rated 1 out of 3 by Marca, Zubamendi. And AS also rated him 1 out of 3. Now, AS on Huijsen, they said Spain's triumph rested on this overwhelming personality with many standout figures and one name in particular. That name is Huijsen. And then they had like a little headline thing saying Imperial. The central defender was always an advantage for the national team in every phase of the game. In the area and in anticipation, he never hesitated, also showcasing his qualities in defending open spaces. With the ball, he broke through lines with wonderful passes, through the Netherlands defence, like the assist for the goal, which I was telling you about, Yamal's goal. He drove forward, offering switches of play to stretch the field. It is now clear that Huijsen is another great talent for a Spain team destined for glory. Now, Sport gave him a 7 out of 10 and said he was that he impressed with his boldness. He played a golden pass to Nico Williams, but the striker couldn't capitalise on it. On Zubamendi, Sport also said on Zubimendi, Sport gave him a 6 out of 10 and said he couldn't focus on building play due to the heavy workload imposed by the opposing midfield. He stood out in a holding role, plugging gaps. A faster ball circulation was missed. Now, Sport gave Yamal an 8, which shows their Barcelona bias, right? Because he was AWOL for the entire game until he popped up in extra time to score. Honestly, he was the most disappointing player for me. Maybe that's unfair, because I just said I don't remember seeing Zubimendi on the pitch. But in the 90 minutes, nothing. I don't remember Yamal doing anything. So he had an off game, and I know I don't share that opinion just to myself, because I was reading on social media the Spanish journalists, and they were like absent for the game, and then pops up when he's needed. So he delivered in the end, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, what I'm saying here is about the bias, because they gave him an 8 anyway. Let's have a look. Sport also said he is a great defender, but when he attacks, this is my notes. He's a great defender, but when he attacks, he's like an attacking midfielder. His long balls from deep was sublime. Sorry, these are my notes, are all over the place. You can tell I'm tired. And Mundo Deportivo gave Zubimendi a 2 out of 3 and Huijsen a 3 out of 3. And to be honest with you guys, obviously the coverage is all about the game last night. So everyone talks about the flair players, the attacking players, Yamal and Williams. But I tell you what, that kid last night, he was amazing. Can you tell I like him? He really was amazing, and I think he's going to be massive in football. Now the thing is, excuse me. The thing is, people were just starting to talk about him. People were just starting to talk about him, and he's people who watch the Premier League, and he's I could tell that they was starting to get a bit more attention in Spain, because if you remember, there was the interview, the sit down with Marca prior to him being included in the Spain senior squad, but that was more along the lines of, are you hoping to be included, kind of thing. And he got called up through because of an injury, and that whole week, if you remember, in the run up to this game was all about him. There was loads of articles about him, and yeah, honestly, guys, if you see, when you're there at the game, and in the position I was in from behind the goal, very high up, you can see that back line, the way it operates, absolutely perfect. And to be honest with you, if you, I don't think you can do it anymore, right? On Sky, and I don't really watch much on Sky with football, but you used to be able to pick the camera angle, didn't you? I think if I was watching now, I'd be watching with that view now from behind. If I'm watching a central defender like that, Virgil van Dijk was obviously involved in that game, but I just felt like Huijsen could be the man to replace Virgil van Dijk. I did. What I was surprised about in this format, because I'm not a fan of international football, right? You'll know that if you follow my channel, probably because Gareth Southgate sucked it all out of me with England. I'm not a fan of international football, and last night was the first time I've ever watched a UEFA Nations League game. I've had zero interest. I don't watch it, guys. I think England are playing tonight. I've got zero interest in it. But it was a couple of hours away from me. I live in Spain. I've been here 17 years. I want to see the Spain national side. I knew that there would be Liverpool players involved on both teams. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I really did enjoy it. But anyway, I'm very tired, as you can tell. I had about 2 hours sleep last night. But I did want to get this video out. I did want to get this vid out about him. The thing is with Liverpool, they might have an interest in him, but will they do anything? And they manage our expectations, don't they? It's right, innit? Do you remember when I went to Boston when they bought the club and I went sniffing and doing a bit of digging and that? Do you remember I came back? What did I tell you? And this is when the owners, everyone loved the owners because they just saved us. The people of Boston said, they'll do well, but they will manage your expectations. And I think it's true because when they talk about a 19-year-old kid, all right, that's a hot talent and being available for £50 million, I believe, in his contract release clause, you immediately go, yeah, but we can't spend 50 million on a 19-year-old. Why can't we? Someone else will. We become managed because we think like that, and we think, well, if there's 50 million going to be spent, it needs to be spent on someone else, kind of thing. So anyway, I've thrown myself off a bit. I think what I was saying was that with Huijsen, they started talking about him a bit in the Premier League, and people were starting to talk about him and rate him and say, oh, he could be a good player in the future. Since he's been called up to Spain, he's played twice, and then I was saying he's been playing for Spain for fucking 10 years. And don't forget, he made his debut for Spain in the Netherlands, right, where he's from, and got absolutely harassed from start to finish. And he was last night, but on a small scale, because you just got the fans in the corner there. He looked fucking great, guys, honestly. If you said to me now, name one player, a priority sign in the summer, I'd tell you straight now. I would, honest, guys. You watch. Mark my words. And the thing is, as much as I see him possibly, going to Real Madrid, if he continues to play like that, you might just get in there this summer because their priority is not that. You might. I don't know. But I'll be very surprised if we don't hear a lot about this boy in the future moving forward. So I know my whole briefing, if you like, my review of the Spanish papers is dedicated to him. But that is all that is in the papers, in all honesty. Obviously, the win, it was an amazing game. I loved it. It was fucking great. It was mint. It really was, but I'm knackered. You know what I mean? So, do I think there was anything else to tell you? I don't think so, guys. That's it. So, like I say, the Jose Felix Diaz is going more all in now, with the Trent. I think he has from start to finish, to be honest with you. I think he said all along, yeah, he's off there, different journalists in Marca will say, oh, it's 90% done or whatever. What was that? Let me just get the exact thing here. What was it? I know that he's now saying that Trent's move to Real Madrid has been confirmed internally. So, and I've seen something this evening on social media, I haven't read it yet, saying he's now signed a contract and it's a 5-year contract, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's from a credible source or anything. I've not even read it. So I won't worry. But you might have heard something similar to that. So, right. All right, how are you? Are you okay? Did you watch the game last night? Let me know if you watched the game last night. Check the comments. Maybe you see a different thing on when you're watching on television, because that's the beauty of being at a live game, is that when the player's attacking or on the other side or whatever, the cameras are focused out. They're usually close up. I had the beauty of seeing that game from a elevated position, watching the kid. I was banging the centre behind the goal. I couldn't have had a better situation really to watch him. He was fucking class, man, honestly. But Liverpool, there you go. All right, I'm off. Live stream tomorrow afternoon. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I don't think there is a live stream tomorrow afternoon. I have a friend visiting. No, there won't be one tomorrow afternoon, but there will be one tomorrow night. Let me see, 1 o'clock. I could do it at 12, but that's 11 in the morning, UK, pointless. So my next live stream will be Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. UK time. That's tomorrow. All right, guys. Like my weekends, typically on a, they're a bit more chill on a weekend, and Sunday, on a Monday afternoon, I kick back with my boy Smooth. But I do miss interacting with you guys. I open up my phone all the time to see if there's any comments, and there's no new comments. Just haven't done any new videos. But on the way back from Valencia last night, I was doing that. Anyway, it was such a long day. Let me tell you this before I go. So I went to one game yesterday. I was out for 11. I got invited to join the CF Benidorm Ultras. Yeah, that's right. They're nice people. They're cool people. My mate used to own the club, sold it to David Villa. They've got some serious investment. They got promoted last season, struggling this season. They're in the bottom three at the minute. Massive game next weekend, which I'll be going to. So yeah, so I was out at 11. Went and joined the ultras. Got me free scarf and me hoodie and all that with all these stuff on and that. I'm 50 years of age. What was I saying? Yeah, watched the game 12 till just after 2 or whatever. Bombed home on my scooter. Had a bite to eat. Went on the Xbox. Then went down for the minibus up to Valencia. And what a stadium that is. If you ever get the chance to go to the Mestalla, it's great. Yeah, I had a great weekend. Lovely day yesterday. Like I say, Monday afternoon is my kickback day, but I was just too tired this morning, guys, to do anything. So tomorrow, my intentions are to go to back to the cafe in the morning. I went today, but not till this afternoon. I'll be there in the morning, probably about 8 in the morning, 7, something like that. I'll review tomorrow's papers for you. Afternoon, like I say, I've got a friend here, so I'm going to go for a coffee at lunchtime. And then we'll do a live stream tomorrow at 6. In fact, as soon as I stop recording this, I'll schedule it. Let me know if you watched that game last night. Yeah, check the comments, guys. All right. Sorry if I'm a bit, whatever with the video. I'm exceptionally tired. All right. So let's look at that going on. Right. If you did appreciate the video, doesn't mean you agreed with me. Please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. If you want to buy me a coffee for the cafe tomorrow morning, hit that super thanks button. I'll read one of the links in the video description. All right, guys. I do have a today's exclusive to do, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to go to bed, I think. We'll do it tomorrow, so it'll be yesterday's exclusive. And there's a few other things that we'll talk about. So back to normal tomorrow. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts. I'll speak to you soon. All right.